Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is CJP UFC Bets. Make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications right now, and make sure to like this video. Make sure to spread the word about CJP UFC Bets, especially if you like free picks, free bets, full card breakdown and predictions right here on this channel, CJP UFC Bets. Tonight, we are breaking down UFC Fight Night Vegas 68, Sergey Spivak versus Derek Lewis. I have a very, very special guest tonight, and his name is the MMA Prodigy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you so much for inviting me on, and I'm looking forward to breaking down these fights.
And if you don't mind, man, go ahead and tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me, the MMA Prodigy on YouTube. I break down these cards weekly, so yeah, that's really it.
All right, there you go, folks. Go follow my friend MMA Prodigy on his YouTube. He knows his stuff. I know he looks young, but trust me, he knows his stuff. All right, let's recap what happened last night on UFC 283, Teixeira versus Hill. What a great card, man. It was stacked, a lot of great finishes. What was your thoughts on UFC 283?
I thought it was a really good card, man. Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy. I mean, that's got to be one of the worst beatings I've ever. It was bad, man. I felt like that fight should have been stopped early on. The main event was great. I was wrong on my Glover pick, and I was pretty confident Glover was gonna get a takedown early and submit him, but he kind of let me down there. I guess the age really got to him, and Jamal Hill. I mean, he made vast improvements from a few months ago when he fought Thiago Santos. I mean, Thiago was taking him down, had his back a few times, and this looked like I don't want to say totally new Jamal Hill, but he just showed major improvements in the ground game, which I was surprised. Yeah, I believe I went 9 out of 15 on my picks, so that's around 60%. I could do better, but I also could do worse. And as far as betting, I had 0.87 unit loss, so breaking even, but it is still a loss, so it's frustrating.
Well, for me, man, I did very, very well, man. I had 12 and 3 on my picks, only 3 losses, and 4 and 4 on my bets. So I did break even on my bets. I should translate my picks into my bets, man. That's what I should do. So far, I'm 19 and 7 in 2023, which translates to about 73% correct for the year so far. And yeah, I did very well. My dog of the card hit Daniel Marcos. I love that bet. That was a great bet for me. And I did win a couple of other bets that I will post on my Instagram later on the week. So if you guys want to check out those bets, it's on CJP UFC Bets Instagram page for UFC 283. The bets that I won and lost are on there. And I was really disappointed in Gregory Rodriguez, man. That really was a shocker to me, man. That was like,
It wasn't really much of a shocker to me, man. I mean, I picked Gregory Rodriguez to win, but I mean, we know he's got that fan favorite style to brawl, and that's Fajera's game, man. So I did pick Gregory to win, but I wasn't surprised he got knocked out, and he's been knocked out a few times in the past.
yeah, that's true, man. That's true. But what he showed me with oh, I lost you there, man. But what he showed me
I'm
with
here. It's all good. You can continue.
what he showed me with Chidi Njokuani was something else. That's why I thought he was going to win. Plus the short notice with Ferreira, so that's why I picked him to win. But it is what it is. But let's get down to it. Let's break down UFC Fight Night Vegas 68, Lewis versus Spivak. Let me. Can you see it, bro? On your end?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, perfect. So UFC Fight Night Vegas 68, Lewis versus Spivak. This is a rescheduled event from a couple fight nights ago. Lewis pulled out at the last minute there due to some bathroom issues. What do you think about this card, bro?
I think it's a good card. The start time, it's a little bit I don't know about where you're at, but the main card starts at 1 a.m. Eastern time. It's a little bit of a weird start time, but I get that they're trying to cater to the Asia audience, and this they are doing like the road to UFC finals, so it's a good card. It's a fight night, so you can't expect much, especially when it's at the Apex. But we've got some sneaker fights on this card, definitely.
I agree with the start time, man. The start time is brutal, and I am in the Eastern Standard Time, so this is going to be very brutal for me. I probably won't watch the card because due to the late start time, I probably watch a few of the prelim fights. But as far as the main card goes, I probably won't watch it, which is a shame. It's okay though. I have UFC Fight Pass. I'll watch it the next day or something like that. Let's get down to it though. For the first fight on the prelims, scheduled in the men's flyweight division, we have Tatsuro Taira versus Jesus Aguilar. Tatsuro Taira, he's 12-0, undefeated, 23 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. Then we have Jesus Aguilar. He's 8-1, 26 years old, 5'4", with a 62.5-inch reach. For Tatsuro Taira, he's primarily a grappler with decent striking and sneaky KO power. He has very nice submissions with okay takedowns, but they're not the best takedowns. But if he does stick with those takedowns, he will get you down and bully you to the ground. He also has good speed on the feet with very solid cardio and constant pressure. For Jesus Aguilar, he's got very solid grappling and good wrestling. He has decent jiu-jitsu skills with good submissions, and most of his wins are by submission, so look out for that. He also has pretty decent takedowns with good cardio, and he can be tough to put out. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Tatsuro Taira by submission. Who do you got on this fight, bro?
Yeah, I'm going with Tyra here as well. I'm not going to waste anyone's time here with a long breakdown. I mean, Tyra should dominate Jesus. They haven't released the odds yet, but I do expect Tyra to open up as a heavy favorite. I mean, on the feet, he's got a solid kicking game. He's very fast, but he's a phenom on the mat. He has very good top control, good submission offense. I don't really see Jesus challenging Tyra anywhere. I mean, Jesus has all right boxing. He's got a decent guillotine, but Tyra is better everywhere. Tyra has a significant advantage physically, and I mean the UFC's obviously booking this fight as an easy showcase fight for Tyra. I think he's gonna dominate Jesus. I think he's gonna just take him down and control him for 15 minutes. But I could also see, Tyra kickboxing him from the outside. I don't expect that to happen, but I think Tyra's got the edge in the striking here as well.
Well, there you go, folks. We're both on the same page there. Tatsuro Taira to win this fight. Let's move on up to the next fight on the prelims for UFC Fight Night Vegas 68. We have Young Park versus Denis Tiuliulin. Young Park, he's 16-5, 31 years old, 5'10", with a 73-inch reach. Then we have Denis Tiuliulin. He's 11-6, 34 years old, 6'1", with a 77-inch reach. For Jeong Yeong Park, he's got pretty decent striking with very nice jabs. He's got good cage control and he's got nice setups and good takedowns. He's got a solid amount of volume on the feet and he also has decent wrestling with a good amount of cardio to go all 3 rounds. For Denis Tiuliulin, he's got good striking and likes to come forward at his opponents with solid pressure. He has a solid amount of KO power with pretty good volume on the feet. He's always hunting for the finish and likes to create a slugfest in his fights. He's also very tough and has good cardio. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Denis Tiuliulin by knockout. Who are you going for, bro?
Wow, I'm surprised, man. I'm actually going with Jeong Yeong Park here. The striking I feel is going to play out close. I'm going to agree with you there. I mean, I am going to give Denise the edge in the power realm, but I feel like Jeong Yeong Park should be able to just go out here and take down Denise. I mean, Kizriev was able to dominate Denis on the mat. I saw a couple guys on the regional scene submit him. I didn't watch the fights. I just, looked at his topology. Can't find those regional fights, but yeah, Park should be able to have success wrestling here. Denis does lack takedown defense. He was able to defend Jamie Pickett's takedowns, but Jamie Pickett, the guy's a striker and he's a horrible fighter. So yeah, Jeong Yeong Park, he should be able to get takedowns here. He should be able to he should be able to have success wrestling. I think he gets a submission or decision win here.
Well, there you go, folks. We're not on the same page for this fight. MMA Prodigy, he's got Young Young Park, and I got Denis Tiuliulin in this fight. So we'll see how that plays out there. I do think that he's going to be the dog in this fight, and I hope he is, because if he is, I will bet him. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card on the prelims, scheduled in the women's flyweight division. We have Yi Young Kim versus Mandy Böhm. Yi Young Kim, she's 9-6, 33 years old, 5'7", with a 72-inch reach. Then we have Mandy Böhm. She's 7-2, 33 years old, 5'7", with a 71-inch reach. For Yi Young Kim, she's got pretty decent striking and likes to fight at range to pick her shots to sting her opponents. She has solid distance control with good submission defense. She also has nice footwork with a good amount of volume on the feet and solid cardio. For Mandy Böhm, she also has solid striking with decent grappling. She's got okay cage control with solid ones and twos. She also has decent takedown defense with okay cardio, but she's not very impressive to me, to be honest. And that's why I'm going with Ji Young Kim by decision. Who you going for, Prodigy?
Yeah, I'm going with Ji Yeon Kim as well. This should be a fight that plays out on the feet. Both these girls are strikers, and Ji Yeon Kim's a better striker. I mean, it's as simple as that at times. This is going to be a fight that plays out on the feet. Ji Yeon Kim is the better striker. She does have a 1-inch reach advantage. I don't know if it's not gonna be a big deal, but it is something to know. And I mean, she is coming off 4 losses, but I don't know. I feel like she's better than her record shows. I mean, she could have won the Edwards fight. She definitely won the Priscilla Cachoeira fight. I mean, if you watch that one, she was piecing Priscilla up for practically the whole fight. She got rocked a few times in the last 90 seconds, but that she definitely should have won that Priscilla fight. So, look, I mean, Mandy Böhm, the girl's got decent Muay Thai. She's an all right fighter on the regionals, but she just really isn't UFC level. Losing to Victoria Leonardo, getting dominated by Ariane Lipsky, just that was a horrible look. Yeah, Ji Yeon Kim should win this fight. Pretty confident that I got Ji Yeon Kim by decision as well.
Well, there you go, folks. We're on the same page again. Ji Young Kim by decision in this fight. I probably won't bet this fight, but the play to make is probably the over 2.5 rounds. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, which is in the prelims for the tournament finals for the road to UFC, scheduled in the men's flyweight division, 125, right? Hyun Park versus Seung Choi. Sung Park, he's undefeated, 7-0, 27 years old, 5'7", with a 66-inch reach. Then we have Seung Choi, he's 6-1, 26 years old, 5'6", with a 64-inch reach. And here we go, folks. For Sung Park, he's got decent striking with a good jab down the middle and solid grappling. He has a good get-up game with decent scrambles and decent wrestling. Not to mention, he does have a solid gas tank, and if he gets to your back, he's going to get a rear naked choke because he's really good at that. He's really good at submissions. For Guk Choi, he's pretty fast on the feet with lots of feints and likes to come forward with pressure at his opponents with solid striking. He throws pretty decent leg kicks and body kicks. He's got solid top control, good ground and pound, and very solid cardio. He can also definitely push the pace and he's very tough to put out. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Seung Choi by decision. What about you, bro?
Listen, man, I haven't really been keeping up with the Road to UFC. I didn't tape study this, I apologize on that. Um, I really don't know. I haven't been keeping up with Road to UFC. I haven't tape studied those fights yet, so I do apologize about that. I don't want to give a pick that I didn't really do any research on.
It's all good, bro. Not a worry, not a worry. It's okay. I still appreciate you coming on the show. And for you guys listening to the show right now, I would appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, turn on those notifications, and support your boy CJP UFC Bets. And make sure to check out the MMA Prodigy. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, scheduled in the tournament finals for for UFC Fight Night Vegas 68. Hyun Sung. Oh, I already did that fight. I apologize. We have Rinya Nakamura versus Toshiomi Kazama. Rinya Nakamura, he's undefeated, 6-0, 27 years old, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. Then we have Toshiomi Kazama. He's 10-2, 25 years old, 5'7", with a 69-inch reach. For Nakamura, he's got good grappling with good wrestling and pretty solid ground game. He's got good striking and he's got good cage control with good takedowns. He also has sneaky KO power and a good cash tank to go the distance in this fight. For Kazama, he's got good grappling with very solid takedowns and a very decent ground game. If he gets the fight to the ground, he's always chasing submissions and good at taking the back for the rear naked choke. Not to mention, he also has good cardio and solid top pressure to go with it. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Renya Nakamura by decision, and I know my dude MMA Prodigy did not do any tape for this fight, so he's not going to give you a pick for this fight. So let's move on to the next fight on the card. Scheduled for the tournament finals. In the prelims, we have Zha Yi versus Jeong Yeong Lee. And I'm sorry if I mispronounce these names because these names are hard to pronounce, ladies and gentlemen. For Zha Yi, he's 21-3, 26 years old, 5'7", with a 70.9-inch reach. Then we have Jeong Yeong Lee, 9-1, 27 years old, 5'10", with a 73-inch reach. For Zha Yi, he's got very solid striking with good jabs. He's got solid ones and twos. He throws nice leg kicks and good kicks to the body. He throws good combinations. He mixes his strikes pretty well. He also has very solid submissions and a decent amount of KO power. For Ying Lee, he's got very nice low kicks, leg kicks, and is a good counter striker. He also has solid ones and twos with good head movement. He sets a nice pace in his fights and not afraid to get in the pocket and trade blows. He also has a solid chin and throws good volume on the feet. I'm going with Zha Lee to win inside the distance in this fight. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, he gets it done, Prodigy. I'm telling you. Let's move on up to the final prelim fight for UFC Fight Night 68, Lewis versus Spivak. And please, ladies and gentlemen, hit that subscribe button, like the video, share the video, and spread the word for CJP UFC Bets. We have Anshul Jubli versus Jeka Saragih. Anshul Jubli, he's undefeated at 6-0, 28 years old, 6-0 with a 69-inch reach. Then we have Jeka Saragih, he's 13-2, 28 years old, 5'8", with a 29-inch reach. For Anshul Jubli, he's got solid striking with good pressure on the feet. He's got pretty decent grappling with good takedowns. He's got solid trips and good sweeps, good wrestling, and very good sprawls with good takedown defense. Not to mention a very solid ground game and good submissions. For Saragih, he's got solid striking with good volume on the feet and solid pressure. He throws nice, strong leg kicks and good kicks to the body with a solid amount of KO power. He also has a good gas tank and a solid chin. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Abdul Jubli by decision. And we have made it to the main card, ladies and gentlemen, for UFC Fight Night 68, Lewis versus Spivak. Did you do tape for this fight, bro?
Yes, I did.
All right. Awesome. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if we sound all mixed up, if we sound disorganized, but this is a very tricky fight because there's a lot of new fighters on this card. And I did do my
Yeah.
tape study, but
Same
Prodigy,
same thing
shame on
with
you, man.
same thing with the Ultimate Fighter, man. I don't really keep up with the Ultimate Fighter, and when they have the finales on, or the Ultimate Fighter finals, I kind of don't feel like, looking at, doing all the research.
I appreciate the honesty, brother. But let's move on up to the next fight, scheduled for the main card in the men's welterweight division. We have Yasuku Kinoshita versus Adam Fugitt. Yasuku Kinoshita, he's 6'1", 22 years old, 6 foot with a 71.5-inch reach. Then we have Adam Fugitt, 8'3", 34 years old, 6'1" with a 77-inch reach. For Kinoshita, he's got very good striking with a ton of KO power in his hands. He has very nice ones and twos with good combinations and pretty good counter striking. He has a very solid ground game with very nice submissions. Not to mention, he throws pretty good knees and is always looking for the finish. For Adam Fugate, he's got a very nice loose boxing style with good wrestling and likes to press forward at his opponents. He likes to bounce in and out at range with a high guard with pretty decent takedowns. Not to mention, he is gritty, he is tough, but I don't think that will be enough for him in this fight. And that's why I'm taking Yasuku Kishida inside the distance.
I'm leaning the same way, man. Yusaku, he should win this one. I mean, Fugit, the guy goes for. Let's just start off with he's not really UFC level. He shouldn't be fighting here. The guy, he goes for takedowns at times, and he has a few submissions on the regional scene, but I feel like Yusaku should be able to defend his takedowns with ease. This is going to be a fight that plays out on the feet for the most part, and Yusaku's just he's the much better striker from a technical perspective. He's got good knockout power, so I expect him to get an early finish here. Fugit has been knocked out a few times. That was a bad knockout against Michael Morales. I'm starting to kind of question his durability, so I'm thinking Yusaku gets an early finish here. This guy, he has that high guard, good power. I think he gets him out of there early.
I definitely agree with that analysis right there. I think Yasuku is going to win by finish. And hopefully we get a good line on that. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card. Scheduled in the men's featherweight division, we have Du Ho Choi versus Kyle Nelson. Du Ho Choi. He's 14-4, 31 years old, 5'10", with a 70-inch reach. Then we have Kyle Nelson. He's 13-5, 31 years old, 5'11", with a 71-inch reach. For Du Ho Choi, he's got very solid striking with a very nice hand that he throws like a piston at his opponents, and a nice right hook with solid jabs. He's got a nice clinch with good knees and pretty decent grappling. He has a very solid chin and just a very tough opponent to put out, and he can definitely scrap with the best of them. For Kyle Nelson, he's got very solid striking with a good amount of KO power and good pressure. He does have a decent takedown defense sitting at 60%, and he also has a pretty decent reversals with okay wrestling. He does get tired and gashes out throughout the fight, and that's going to be his downfall here. And that's why I'm going with Ho Choi by knockout. What about you, Prodigy?
Yeah, this is my favorite fight on the card. We got the comeback of Ho Choi. If you guys remember, he had that great fight against Cub Swanson. He's taken 3 years off, man. He's taken 3 years off. A guy like him can afford to do that. He came into the UFC very young, and he's still, he's 31 years old, so he can afford to take those couple years off. And who knows? I mean, he might even come back improved. He should be able to beat Kyle Nelson, man. This should be a very fun fight. Ho Choi, he's got that brawling style. He's killer. He's got that killer be killed style. And Kyle Nelson, he's a guy who welcomes a brawl. He's kind of a brawler himself. He's been knocked out a few times as well. So, fight doesn't go to decision. Probably a good bet for this one if that's not chalked. But yeah, I think Duo Choi gets a knockout here. This is a step down in competition compared to Charles Jourdain, Stevens, and Swanson. And those were fights that were all competitive. I mean, he hurt Swanson a few times. I believe he dropped Jourdain. So Kyle Nelson's a step down. The truth is, he's taken a few years off. And, this is what do I say? This is kind of like a welcome back fight for him, a fight he should win. So I'm taking Ho Choi by knockout.
Yes, sir. Let's go. That's a great bet right there, and I might bet that. Hopefully, we get a good line on that for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on up to the next fight. We're going pretty fast here, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, check out my dude, the MMA Prodigy, on his channel. He does good work over there. And make sure to join our contest. We're still doing it, folks. We're still giving away a $250 gift card. Make sure to follow the rules, make sure to follow the steps, and you're fully entered in the contest. The next fight on the card is scheduled to in the men's heavyweight division. We have Marcin Tybura versus Blagoy Ivanov. Marcin Tybura, he's 23 and 7, 37 years old, 6'3", with a 78-inch reach. Then we have Blagoy Ivanov, 36 years old, 5'11", with a 73-inch reach, and I expect this fight to not go the distance. For Marcin Tybura, he's got very good striking with a decent amount of KO power. He's got a good clinch against the cage, and he has a solid defensive and offensive wrestling with good takedowns. He also has good cardio for a heavyweight with pretty decent BJJ skills and good ground and pound. For Ivanov, he's got pretty decent striking himself with a very good chin on him. He's willing to brawl and create a firefight. He's got a good combo combat sambo background with a very solid takedown defense. He also has sneaky KO power and is one of the most underrated heavyweights in this division. So give me Blagoy Ivanov by knockout. I'm calling it now, Prodigy. I'm calling it now, YouTube. Write it down, folks. I'm telling you, it's getting it done. What about you, bro?
I'm going with Marcin Tybura, man. I'll tell you what. I actually do expect this fight to go the distance. Blagoy Ivanov. I mean, this guy. Probably and I'm saying this seriously. Probably the toughest heavyweight in the UFC division. Went the distance with Derek Lewis. Ate some bombs in that fight. And that was a split decision. That was a very close fight. And then against Marcos Rogerio de Lima, Marcos, we know him. He's very explosive, powerful in the early goings. He was able to, that was kind of a boring fight, but he did take big shots and he withstood him and he did win. So I actually do expect this fight to go the distance. On the feet, it's gonna play out close. Blagoy might even have the edge, but the guy's got low output. He is both these guys are on the older side of things, but Marcin Tybura, I mean, I know he's 37, but he's not showing it. You know, he's been looking good as of late. The Romanov fight was very impressive. He showed a lot of heart in that one. And I mean, people have been saying he has durability issues and whatnot, but he was able to withstand the onslaught from Romanov early and kind of come back to win a decision. Yeah, look, on the feet, I think it'll play out close, but I just think Marcin's wrestling, his takedowns will be the difference maker here. So I'm going Marcin by decision.
Well, there you go, folks. We still have the same pick, but a different outcome. I'm still going with Blagoy by knockout, Prodigy by decision. Let's move on up to the next fight on the
Did I say
card. Uh,
Blagoy?
Did you say Blagoy or did you say Tabora?
I'm picking Tabora by decision
Okay,
here.
Tabora. He's going with Tabora. I'm going with Blagoy. There you go, folks. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, which is scheduled to be the co-main event of the evening for UFC Fight Night Vegas 68, Lewis versus Spivak. And this fight is going to be a banger. We have Da Un Young versus Devin Clark. Da Un Young, he's 15-3-1, 29 years old, 6'4", with a 78.5-inch reach. Then we have Devin Clark. He's 13-7, 32 years old, 6'0", with a 75-inch reach. For Da Oh Young, he's got very nice technical striking, good boxing with good ones and twos. He has solid wrestling with good takedowns and decent top control. He has a pretty good solid clinch with good grappling, and not to mention, he does mixes his strikes up pretty well with sneaky submissions and sneaky KO power. For Devin Clark, he's got solid grappling with decent striking and good footwork. He has heavy hands with a solid amount of KO power. He throws nice leg kicks and head kicks at his opponents while pressuring forward, and he has decent cardio, but he is chinny, and that could be a problem for him in this fight. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Da Oh Young by decision, maybe even a knockout. I can see that happening here. Who do you have in this fight?
I got Down Young, man. Did you say Down Young is chinny or Devin Clark's
No,
chinny?
I said Devin Clark's chinny.
Okay. I was gonna say because I mean Devin, if you said Down Jung's chinny, I mean Devin Clark, this guy can knock out a fly. You know, very soft hands on him. Look, if he's gonna win this fight, he's gonna have to, constantly get takedowns. That's his style. It's a very boring style of just getting takedowns and holding guys down, and I don't think that's gonna happen here. I mean, Down Young, this guy is very good takedown offense. He's much bigger. You know, Devin Clark, we know this guy, he's flirted with the 85-pound division before. He's a very small light heavyweight. I feel like Down Young's going to defend the takedowns when they come, and I think he's going to dispatch Devin Clark early here. I'm taking Down Young by first round knockout.
First round knockout. Wow, that should be a good line right there, bro. I'm gonna watch out for that. I'm definitely gonna watch out for that. Like I said, I can see a knockout happening.
Sorry, hold on. Devin Clark's very tough. I'll give him that. He's very tough, but he is chinny,
He
if
is
that makes
chinny.
sense.
He is chinny for sure. It does make sense. I agree. There's tough fighters out there, but they're chinny, and Devin Clark is one of them. Let's move on up to the main event of the evening for UFC Fight Night Vegas 68. But before we do the breakdown, do us a favor, folks. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, like us, share us. Make sure to check out my dude, the MMA Prodigy, on his YouTube. He does good work over there. And here we go, folks. The main event is in the men's heavyweight division. We have Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak. Derek Lewis, he's 26-10, 37 years old, 6'3", with a 79-inch reach. Then we have Sergey Spivak. He's 15-3, 28 years old, 6'3", with a 78-inch reach. This fight is not going the distance, folks. I guarantee you. For Derek Lewis, he's got a huge amount of KO power with decent striking, but he is patient and he will sit back just to throw big bombs at his opponents as soon as you get close. He's got a nice brawling type style, and if he connects to your chin, you're probably gonna get knocked out. He has an okay chin himself with pretty low volume on the feet, and he can slow down throughout the fight. For Sergey Spivak, he's got pretty good grappling with pretty solid wrestling and good takedowns. He's got a good ground and pound, decent top control, and a good amount of volume on the feet. He can push the pace in the fights with decent jabs, and not to mention, he does have solid submissions with good cardio, way better than Derek Lewis. I can tell you that much. And that's why I'm going with Sergey Spivak inside the distance. I think he gets it done by the third round or earlier. Who do you have in this fight, bro?
I'm going with the underdog. I'm taking Derek Lewis by round two knockout, man. Look, I know he's getting a little bit older. He's on a bit of a losing skid, but he does good against wrestlers. He does good against wrestlers. I mean, Lewis actually does bad against strikers. You'd think it'd be otherwise, but I mean, a lot of times he loses to these technical strikers that are just able to stay away from his power. And he does good against wrestlers like Curtis Blades, like Blagoy Ivanov. I know Blagoy Ivanov strikes at times, but he does have wrestling. Yeah, I think I Derek Lewis. I mean, he obviously has the huge advantage as far as just experience and fighting guys at a high level. And I mean, have you seen the pictures of him lately? There was a picture of him floating around, and he looks like a middleweight. So it looks like he's taking it his diet serious. That's always been a concern for him, but I mean, yeah, he's training hard. That's always a good sign. But I just feel like this is a good style matchup for him. I mean, Sergey Spivak. Look back at that fight with Alexei Olenek. It was a 15-minute striking match with a what? With an old Alexei Olenek, and it was a fight that played out very close. I believe Sergey won by 29-28, something like that. But it was a very close fight. That was 1 year and 5 months ago. He had a 15-minute striking fight against Alexei Olenek, and he barely skimmed by. He didn't go for takedowns, obviously, because Alexei's got a great submission game off his back. Him getting dominated like that against Tom Aspinall, that wasn't a good look either. I mean, sure, he might be able to get a takedown or two, but Derek Lewis, I mean, this guy has great get up game. I don't even want to say great get up game, but he has this ability to just explode back up when guys take him down. So, yeah, look, I think, I mean, look, Sergey's obviously younger. The momentum's with him. This could be a fight where he's just able to run through Lewis and get takedowns, but Derek Lewis, he does good against wrestlers. He has a history of doing good against wrestlers. He has a good get up game. His takedown offense, it's not like, Jose Aldo like, but it is a bit underrated. I think he finds a knockout here. Sergey Spivak, I do think this guy's chinny. I do think this guy's chinny. He does get a bit of a pass because you are fighting at heavyweights, and if guys hit you on the right spot, it's like anyone could get knocked out. But I do feel like he's a bit chinny, so I'm going with the underdog. I'm going Derek Lewis by round two knockout.
There you go, folks. That's a really good analysis right there. Don't tell my dude MMA Prodigy because we already know my. I'm just joking, bro. Derek Lewis by knockout. Okay, I can see that happening because, like you said, he does hit pretty hard. He probably is the hardest puncher now that Ngannou left the UFC. I think he is the hardest puncher in the heavyweight division. So I can see a knockout happening for Derek Lewis, but I'm still going with Sergey Spivak in this fight. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that was our breakdown for UFC Fight Night Vegas 68. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to check out my dude. Thank you so much for breaking down our fights here tonight, man. I really appreciate you joining me here, and hopefully you can join us back later down the road, bro.
Yeah, anytime, man. Thank you for inviting me on. I appreciate the exposure, and I think I might be getting into live streams very soon, so maybe I have you on as a guest or something.
I appreciate that, but I really do. And make sure to check him out. MMA Prodigy, the MMA Prodigy on YouTube. Check him out. He does good work. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, CJP UFC Bets. We'll be back next week to reveal our bets, our dog of the card, our lock of the card next week on this channel. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Our bets for UFC Fight Night Vegas 68 Lewis versus Spivak. MMA Prodigy, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me, and we're out of here, folks.